All right, welcome back to the channel again, ladies and gentlemen. Thank y'all so much for coming over. Now look, before I press play on this video, which I got from KB Goes Live, I'll leave the original video in the description for you guys to check out more. But Marlon Wayans calls out 50 Cent's Netflix documentary about Diddy. If you guys haven't seen the Club Shay Shay, the Shannon Sharp interview with Marlon Wayans, I advise you to check that out. He admits to going to the Diddy parties and stuff like that, joking around, talking about they would kick him out early because he talked too much. He goes into how, you know, he been knowing Diddy for over like 30 years or something like that. So in this video, with this title, it's not shocking to me that apparently Marlon is going to be taking Diddy's side. But look, remember I talked about Diddy getting out of jail? What is that going to be like? Who's still going to be hanging out with him? If he throws another party, who's going to go? I guarantee you Marlon's going to be there. So, again, shout out to KB Goes Live for the video. We ain't gonna waste no more time. Let's jump right into it.
All right, so, man, it's been a while since I've been on YouTube. I ain't gonna lie, it's been like 3 weeks. I'm like, mic check, is this thing working? But we back at it now, and today I want to talk about this whole 50 Cent, Diddy, Marlon Wayans situation, right? If you don't know, 50 Cent dropped a new documentary on Netflix about Diddy. It's called The Reckoning, and it's had the internet on fire. In this documentary, they talk about the allegations, old rumors about Diddy, and the whole situation with did Diddy put a hit on Tupac. Basically, it covers everything that people have been whispering about for years. It's just packaged into this 4-part series that Netflix put out. And now Marlon Wayans has stepped in to give his take on this situation. And honestly, it's one of the funniest attempts at being neutral that I've seen in a while, because on one hand,
wait, he's on 92 point, he's on a radio talking about this. Woo, I wonder if people call in. Because again, you know, the thing is, like, with comedians or funny people, you know, there's going to be a lot of humor in what they say. And a lot of times people don't really take them serious for what's said. But, you know, when you go, like I said, you go on a radio station for the world to hear your comments. Let's see what he said.
Marlon is saying, look, 50 and Puff, they got old beef. You can't trust this documentary. But on the other hand, when he talks about being at Diddy parties, because he has self-admittedly been an attendee of these Diddy parties in the past, when he talks about him being there, the math kind of stops mathing, right? Because like I said, on one hand, he's saying, look, Puff and 50 got beef. You can't trust them. And on the other hand, he's saying, but when I was at the Diddy parties, it was weird and I had to catch myself leaving early. But before we get to that, let me play this first clip of Marlon basically saying he doesn't trust the documentary because
so that's very important there, because I said he was like they would kick him out. He was like, I didn't see nothing because they were like, I talked too much, so they got me up out of there. He's like, well, I heard about things that be going on. And again, we talked about how it could have been stuff going on with grown folks just doing grown folks things. But I'm just saying, with all the stuff that's alleged to have happened, you know, you go to a Diddy party and you hear there was levels to the freakiness and then some stuff that happened that was illegal. But you end up going to like 10 parties after you know that illegal stuff be going, allegedly illegal stuff be happening there. But you are going to multiple parties, but you not seeing nothing, but you know something is allegedly happening. You know what I mean? Why do you continue to go?
Documentary can manipulate the narrative about Diddy, and that 50 Cent has a good reason to try to manipulate the narrative, right? Y'all watch this.
We ain't baby all close.
Nah, you stupid.
But yo, look, Puff is
Nah. You working with
I've known
Pac?
Puff for 30 years.
You saw Big before he passed?
Yeah. Bro, so you're close. And Jack, what were you saying?
In the documentary, there was insinuations of, that Diddy possibly had something to do with both Tupac and Biggie. And,
Who's telling the story, right? You can skew
People very close to the situation.
but you can create any narrative as a producer and as a director and as a storyteller. I can create a narrative. I could be like, you know what?
You have?
I could create a narrative.
Well,
I could be
we see it all the time in reality shows. Like,
Nah,
on reality
that's right.
shows,
Yeah,
that's
you-
how
you're
they're
still-
creating.
you write a
narrative.
Okay, so for all of you that are watching right now, hopefully you've seen the documentary, because what I'm about to say is that he's saying you can create a narrative when 50 Cent isn't the creator of wait, let me see. 50 Cent didn't write a script for all of these people to talk. A lot of these people were talking before 50 Cent. Before 50 Cent had anything to say, a lot of these people had their stories. Some of this stuff was happening before 50 Cent even came on the scene from a lot of these people in these interviews and stuff. So I don't think 50 Cent is creating a narrative. He's just giving people a platform, a huge platform to speak their truth. Creating a narrative is like, I'm a write this down or say this or say that, say this, say that. No, you can find a lot of these people interviews, you can find everywhere before Netflix. What he's saying right there, I don't know why people even talk sometimes, man. They open up themselves to get ridiculed because you're showing support to someone, and at the same time, it's like you're discrediting all these other people's stories of what happened to them and stuff like that. By protecting Diddy. It's crazy. It's like you're saying, yeah, they're just creating a narrative. That's crazy, man.
It doesn't mean it's true. It doesn't mean it's true. I can get interviews. I can do this. I can get footage. And I could make you think this about that person.
Nah, for sure, yeah.
And that doesn't necessarily mean it's true. So for me, I think, look, 50 and Puff have a long-term beef. It's personal. It's
Well, people are saying 50's wrong for doing it, but 50's right for doing it. It's divided.
It's between him and Puff. And before it's between him and Puff, it's between both of them and God. Just the way Puff is down on his luck and 50's kicking a man when he's down.
God is going to...
If 50 ever luck turned up on...
50's kicking a man while he's down. So the irony in that, when you know what he did to Cassie. This I'll just say this. And I mentioned this before. And you don't wish any harm or whatever on anybody. But I'm going to just say this. Sometimes people have to go through things to really grasp and understand what's really happening and what's really going on. And I know Marlon has kids. I'm just saying, if his child was, take out Cassie and put his child there, Diddy's doing that to his child, would he be sitting here and saying that? Would he be saying that this narrative is being created? If that was his child, he would believe everything that everybody is saying because he was able to see how Diddy could be. It's just, when you don't really have a connection like that, it's hard for you to put people or put yourself in that situation. He's basically going off this 30 years of partying and having fun. It's almost like saying he wants the fun to continue. I just think that's crazy because, again, all of these people had their stories, their truths, and how does he know that they could possibly be lying? I think what he's saying, he's like wording it wrong. You know? Because everybody can't be lying.
50, you know, that you got to be careful what you put out. There's a karma to every action that you do.
Okay, so Marlon basically just said that documentaries can make you believe anything that they want you to believe because they have the creative ability to control the narrative. And look, he's not wrong. Editing is powerful. You could take real footage and build whatever story you want out of it. That's why every reality show feels intense and drama filled because they're able to edit it in a way to make it feel that way. Now, I like Marlon Wayans, right? Always been a fan of him. Grew up watching him and his brother's TV show. But I do gotta say that I feel like Marlon is really only looking at this with a half perspective, right? Because there's a part that he left out of this conversation, right? And that is that these allegations about Diddy, they didn't start with 50 Cent. These rumors have been around longer than some of y'all watching this video have been alive. 50 didn't invent this narrative or these rumors. He's just basically been the first person bold enough to package it up for a Netflix series. Saying that you can't trust the documentary completely because 50 is involved with it kind of feels half-hearted because, like I said, there really was no new information in this docuseries. These are rumors and allegations that have been around for decades. But I mean,
again, you can find the original video in the description. So you can watch more. I stopped it at the 4:10 mark. The video is 11 minutes, 43 seconds. I just wanted to hear what he had to say about that. What he said, what we both said about, you know, all this information already being there. He just put it together in a Netflix documentary. But if you look at a lot of the comments that people were saying, you know, other than the footage that they got from Diddy's camera, everybody pretty much knew a lot of the stuff that was going on already. You know, they already knew that. It's just when you see it, you know, when you see the documentary and it's just like, because it's quick, you know, you go on YouTube or whatever and you watch one interview talking about Diddy, you know, and then you may go to another video, but everything was put together so well, it flowed so well, but it's been said already. So I don't know what he's trying to say. I don't understand what he means by that. Creating a narrative. 50 Cent didn't start this. So if anything, it's already, the narrative has already been out there. I don't know. It's weird. That was very strange for him to say that. Let me just look at some of the, somebody said, I'm looking at the comments, someone said Marlon Wayans should keep quiet. Anyone defending Diddy probably sees a little bit of themselves in him. Ooh, wee. So Lord only know what Marlon and Sean has seen and done behind the scenes. Ain't he in that Key and Peele movie? And shit, you talk about the Him movie. Someone say 50 isn't kicking Puff while he is down. 50 has been kicking Puff for well over a decade. Defending Diddy is crazy. It's that's why I said sometimes like I said, sometimes people shouldn't just, but no, they should say it. He shouldn't keep quiet because now you know. Now you know. Remember how I was talking about no one's really coming out and saying nothing? Yeah, I all of them should come out and speak their mind on how they feel. So at least you'll know. You'll know. What's just strange to me is that if anything, 50 should be applauded for having the courage to do this, because you know what, think about all the allegations on Puff, especially the ones with Tupac and Biggie. So if a lot of people are alleging that he had something to do with that, you know, you got to be bold to make a Netflix doc knowing that the possibility of retaliation could be coming back at you, you know? So he should be applauded for this. But I don't know, man. You guys comment below what y'all think about Marlon's saying that he's just creating a narrative. That's wild. All right, peace out.